What's up, JFW family? Welcome back to the Channel 23 podcast. The purpose of this podcast is to reach out and touch the fleet, to engage and inform everyone with all things JFW. Good morning, man.
Good morning.
Good morning, Jam.
Morning.
What's happening, everybody?
We got Jam, Brother Dave, Super Dave, and a special guest, Jimmy Villagrana. What's up, Jimmy V?
Buenos dias, everybody. Good morning, Jose. Good morning.
Welcome, Jimmy.
I have a
Thanks
feeling
for joining us, Jimmy.
Jimmy's going to be the new host of this podcast. I could just feel it.
I could be.
You could be. Yeah, absolutely.
Muchas gracias, muchachos, por haberme invitado a este programa especial. Vamos a continuar con éxitos en el canal 23.
All right. You know, we did pick up a listener from Mexico last week, so maybe they'll keep listening now.
Yep. Awesome.
Cool.
Time for
You think it was one of our guys on vacation? Do we have anybody down there right now?
You know, somebody who was just telling me they were in Mexico.
We did the week before.
Somebody.
Leroy in the shop.
Yeah, Leroy.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes,
Yeah,
he was
West
just in
Mechanic
Mexico.
Leroy.
Good point. Well, guys, time for the Pledge of Allegiance.
All right.
Let's do it. Anybody wants to join us, join in.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
I pledge
pledge
allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right.
I haven't done that since I was like in elementary school.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we talked about,
They
Jimmy.
need to bring that back.
Yes. Disclaimer, just as a reminder, anything you hear on this podcast is not the opinion of JFW. It is Jimmy V's opinion. Episode 37 did pretty well. We had 395 downloads. We are at 11,899 total downloads, and we have 121 followers.
Nice.
Yeah, thanks everybody for listening.
Absolutely.
Yep. It's time for the...
And Rick for last week for joining us last
Oh,
week.
yeah. And
Yeah,
Rick,
good.
it's
I
so...
had fun with Rick. That was good.
Yeah, he's a good dude, isn't he?
Lots of knowledge.
Yep.
Yeah. He was a great guest. What's so funny is we are completely disheveled this morning, as usual.
Right.
Yeah, we're back to our norm, right?
Yeah, last week we were super prepared. So, here we are putting an outline together 2 minutes
Yep.
before the podcast.
Yeah,
So,
we're making a joke about that because Rick is so prepared.
Yeah.
He came here the week prior to get us prepared.
I
And
think it was 2021.
Jimmy's going to hold us together this morning.
yeah, that's
yeah.
right.
Yeah.
He's gonna carry us.
Jimmy, did you bring a dad joke? Because it is
Sure
time
did.
for the dad joke challenge.
I had to Google some, but you guys already got most of them.
We'll laugh. Don't worry.
Jeez.
They're tough.
Oh, you waiting for me?
Yeah, we're going to...
Okay.
They're not getting easier.
Why can't you hear a psychiatrist go to the bathroom?
Oh, I've read this one, but I don't remember. And we've never told it.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, because the P is silent.
That's very good.
That's his opening volley. I like it.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Let's just go around the table counterclockwise. Super Dave, you're next.
Uh-oh. Pressure's on right off the
Well, I'm gonna go back and do one of those survivor jokes back in time. We all have heard those survivor jokes, but this one's a little different, and I really liked it. So a plane crashes in the jungle, and every single person died. So who survived?
I know this one.
Yeah, because I told you before.
Just the married ones. If every single person died, all that's left are the married ones.
Just the
right.
married couples.
just the married ones.
Ba-da-ba.
Good job, Brother Dave.
Man, I'm going home.
Well, it's summer, right? I mean, it's officially ramped up. It's summer, so it's concert season. Lots of concerts going on. So I was like, God, see if there's any concerts out there the wife and I can go see. And man, I'm looking at prices, I'm thinking, this is outrageous. And then I found a concert for 45 cents. I could not believe it. Do you guys know who it is?
50 Cent's
50
little
Cent.
brother.
50 Cent featuring Nickelback.
Man, you're hip this morning. Man. Oh, Fitty'd be proud.
That's pretty good, especially since we have a musician on the podcast
Right.
today.
Right. Well, I had a dad joke for Jimmy this morning in honor of him, a Spanish joke. So,
Oh, boy.
have you guys heard about the Spanish musician practicing to make things disappear? No? So he was working on a rabbit to make a rabbit disappear, and he goes, Uno, dos, poof. The rabbit disappeared without a trace.
Got it.
Dave, do you get it?
No.
Uno, dos, trace. There's no trace.
Oh, no trace. Got it.
That's
That was better than the joke.
always is. Always is. So I applied for a new membership at Arrange. Just kidding, Brother Dave. I can't say that. But do you know what Reese Witherspoon calls her gun collection?
Oh, she did the what was her that first movie that claimed to fame? Not Pretty in Pink, but she did. Oh, Blonde. What? Say that again.
What does Reese Witherspoon call her gun collection?
I don't know. Blonde Ambition, or I don't know.
Reese's Pieces.
Reese's Pieces. Nice.
New drivers. We got Darren Johnson starting this week. Welcome, Darren.
Welcome aboard, Darren.
Yep.
Glad to have you, Darren.
Yep.
Thanks for joining our team.
Darren is one of our success stories. He applied a whole year ago in July, and he was a newer driver at that time, and he struggled a little bit on the drive test, so I gave him the old, hey, go get some experience and come on back, and he did.
Oh, great. Fantastic.
Fantastic.
Yep.
He's also a Freddie Powell referral, so if he's anything like Freddie, we've scored.
Awesome.
Yeah. Boom, boom.
So, celebrations, anniversaries. Jeff Nolasco just hit 1 year on the 12th, which was yesterday. Troy Holmes, 1 year today. Happy anniversary, guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
happy anniversary,
Holmes,
both of
right
you
on.
guys.
Yep. We have no employee birthdays this week. That makes me sad, but Adam Aguera's wife's having a birthday. Jackie Aguera, she had a birthday on Sunday, this past Sunday.
Happy birthday, Jackie.
Yeah. Happy birthday.
Happy
Happy
birthday.
birthday, Jackie. I
Shout
like that name. Happens to be my wife's name.
does happen to be your wife's name. That is
You're
a good
married
name.
to Jackie Higuera?
Married to Jackie Weldon.
I'm pulling up
Then why is
Paco's.
Jackie Higuera your wife's name?
Jeez.
It's going to be a long podcast, Jimmy. I'm going to apologize in advance. Shout outs. Wanted to read an email from Paco in regards to the Bless My Block event. Anyway, Paco said, I wanted to thank JFW and the JFW family for the support on the Bless My Block event. I know we don't all believe the same way, but I'm sure we all agree on doing good. The event turned out great. A lot of people got a little help. There was gas and food, gift cards, and even the Salvation Army was there passing out bags of groceries. A lot of people got help for just a one-time thing, but one person that stood out was an older lady that's in a wheelchair, and she has an older son with Down syndrome, and it's very difficult for her to get out around, and we were able to connect her with Black Sheep, which is a Christian biker club, and they're going to deliver food to her house on a consistent basis. Thank you, everyone. God bless.
Wow. That's
How cool
great.
is that?
Yeah. And I know, Jimmy, you actually were part of that, so thanks for helping out.
I did contribute to that. I mean, it's not a whole lot what I did, but
Yeah, it was great. Yeah.
I like doing stuff like that, being part of a community, helping out somebody without expecting something in return, you know?
Yeah.
A little bit goes a long ways, doesn't it, Jimmy?
Yes, it does.
Yeah. Yeah, those people that are in need, a little bit goes a long ways.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've been watching these videos, and I don't know if they're staged or not, but I gotta go up to somebody in a grocery store that doesn't look like they got two nickels to rub together, and they're like, hey, I'm trying to buy my kid socks, and I'm $2 short. Do you think you could help me out? And they're like, yeah. And he'll be like, really? And they'll be like, yeah, well, why? Well, I know what it's like to need help. Okay, cool. I'm going to give you $1,000.
Yep. Yeah, I've seen the same
Yeah.
thing.
I don't know if they're staged or not, but
Yeah.
that's pretty cool. So,
Yeah, a couple of them I've seen do the groceries, like they follow them out and they just give them their groceries to Jam, I think.
Right.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Hopefully it's not staged.
yeah. TJ Leonard, Joanne's husband, he wants to give a shout out to Juan Morales in 0037. Juan's actually new around here, but TJ made it a point to let Joanne know Juan's doing a good job. He's not racing. Space in front of his rig, or he has space in front of his rig. Half the other trucks out here are tailgating and generally being a-holes. So, good job, Juan. We love hearing that stuff.
Thank you, Juan.
Yeah, thanks for the feedback, TJ. Appreciate
good
that
job,
too.
Juan.
Yeah, TJ actually wanted a map of where all the pits and plants are because he listens to the podcast, and he said that would be helpful. So I offered to send him a pit list, and I haven't heard back if that's what he's looking for or not. But
it's a lot of info in the pit list.
yeah, we don't really have a map of all the locations. You know, we got addresses, but
Right.
Yeah.
so. Before we get into the discussion with Jimmy V, Dustin Romero, he mentioned that we're looking for volunteers. We need 2 or 3 people to help with the event planning for the Yard 23 Truck Rodeo. That would be helping to plan for food, tents, helping Veronica, stuff like that. So if anybody wants to help out, contact Dustin. He also mentioned course setup, food, kids events, truck rodeo test givers and graders and miscellaneous stuff. So
Yeah, those guys are working hard on that, Jam, trying to get that put together. And it seems way early, but it's a good time to start planning.
that's something you need to be prepared for, unlike this podcast.
Right? Yeah.
Put together in 10
definitely
minutes.
don't get there that morning and go, all right,
What are we going to do?
today? What do we need to do?
Are we going to have a backup section? So, yeah, good stuff.
Who brought the cones? We need to set out a couple cones.
Right. Well, Jimmy, thanks for coming on. Before we jump into this too much, I want to mention you are a dad, you're a grandpa, you're a musician, specifically a drummer. Do you play anything else?
No, just
No?
drums.
Just drums? Sing a little bit?
I'll do backup vocals here and there.
Okay, cool. What do you like to do in your time off?
What do I like to do in my time off?
Yeah.
I like to spend time with my kids. Now that my grandson's around, I mean, it's just a good time when I'm with him, and I like to spend as much time as I can with him.
Gotcha.
My daughter really doesn't say, here you go, you can spend a whole day with him. I like to do stuff like that, but she's like, no, just come over and visit. She still kind of doesn't trust me, I guess, like that. But
Sure.
It's okay because, it's fun.
Nice.
So, my time off, that's basically what I do is just, go home, relax. When I get to spend time with my kids, it's just great. Go up to the mountains, go to the movies.
Nice. Very cool. You told a really cool story. I know you're not as active as you are in a band right now, but you told the most awesome story about how you got involved playing the drums, and I'd love for everybody to hear that.
Well, the way I started out playing drums was I was about 4 years old, 4 years old, and my brother's about 20 years older than me. So at that time, he had a band, and they used to practice in my mom's house. And, of course, I just wanted to play with them drums, and my brother wouldn't let me. He'd tear them apart. He'd tear them down, and so I wouldn't touch him while he was gone at work or whatever. So about a year passed, and he got married. And when he got married, his wife was like, it's either the music or me. And he just decided, you know what, I'm going to stop playing music. I'm going to be happily married, which I don't know if he really is, but okay. Anyways, he gave me the drum set. I put it together. My parents had a big record player, and I would put records on there and just listen to the music, and I'd follow it. So that's how I kind of learned how to play drums. And when I was about 10 years old, my parents took me to this wedding or quinceañera, and the band that was setting up, they announced that they weren't going to play because their drummer didn't show up. So my dad, right away, he's like, my son plays the drums. And they looked at me and they were like, he's just a little kid, man. And they were like, well, try him out. So they tried me out. They told me to play different beats, and they're like, okay, yeah, he can do it. So I played about 4 sets that night with that band. And about a week later, my dad received a call from some other band that were interested in me. So 1986, November of 1986 is when I started playing with the band. Up until recently with all this COVID stuff, that's when I kind of stopped.
Wow. So cool.
That's awesome,
is
yeah.
10 years old and being recruited
Right?
into bands came through. That's awesome. And then you were also saying you don't play using your sticks like we'll say the normal way, not
No,
like normal people.
I grab the sticks backwards, the opposite way.
So you use like a broom handle.
Yeah, pretty much.
And you said it was special wood from Japan or something like that?
Yeah, it's the Japan oak
Wow.
that I like.
That's cool, man. That's cool. I wish I had a chance to hear you play. If you ever do play again, let me know. Maybe I'll bring the wife out.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah, I'll get a call every now and then from different bands, and they'll call me up and see if I can back them up because their drummer's on vacation or something. And I'll say yes to it. I won't play Sundays no more. That's just, I can't play Sundays because when I come in here Monday, that truck seems like it's 3 times bigger than its normal size. So
Right.
I won't do that on Sundays anymore.
Yeah, that had to be a struggle playing. Because did you play during the week too when you used to?
It was practice.
Yeah,
We
so-
practice a couple times during the week and then play Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Wow.
That's when I started here at JFW. That's where I was.
Right.
And then I quit that band because I told them I couldn't play Sundays no more. And they were like, "Well, we're gonna look for a different drummer." So a couple months went by. Another band called me and they were like, "Hey, we only play, a Friday here, Saturday here, every now and then." And I'm like, "Okay." So I joined them.
Nice. Very cool. That had to be tough, though, like you said, coming in on a Monday morning. I mean, I stayed up till midnight on the 4th of July, and I thought I was going to die here on Tuesday. So I can't
Well, that
imagine.
weekend was tough. My kids took me to a Chris Young's concert out in Fielder's Green on a Saturday. And Sunday I stayed home all day, and Monday I stayed home all day, and I still struggled to come in on Tuesday. I was like, man,
Just getting older.
I'm
Yeah,
serious.
that's true.
That's funny. Fiddlers is where 50 Cent and Nickelback are going to be.
Who's Nickelback? Never heard of those guys. Well, Jimmy, you are back at JFW for almost 3 years. I say you're back because you did leave at one point. Your original start date was in 2017. Do you know when that was?
I started April
April of 17?
Yeah.
Okay. And then
April 4th of 2017.
Okay. And then you worked until April 30th of 19, so just over 2 years. And you were only gone for about 4 months. I thought it was longer than that.
No,
but
I was gone about 3 months. Was it 3 months?
was it 4:30? Well, 5. Yeah, about 3 months. Yeah, because of the end of April. And then before you came to JFW, where were you driving?
Before I came to JFW, do you want me to take, say, a list like Rick did last week? Or I got a big list, but anyways, before I even got my CDL, I used to be a supervisor for a custodial company,
Okay.
and I did that for about 6 years.
Okay.
My operations manager and I had a little bit of differences, and he would get a lot of credit of the work I was doing and the crews I would put together, and it was just an issue we'd had. We had to clean a CBI building out in Grand Junction,
Oh.
and he was upset because I had put a crew together, and he didn't want me to take that many people. When my vice president, he told me, get the crew you need to do, go do this job one time. I don't want to send nobody back to Grand Junction to go fix anything.
Right.
So I got this crew together. We had a little discussion or whatever, and I was very upset. I said some things that I don't know if I shouldn't have said it, but that's how I felt at the moment, really mad and
Right.
upset. So he was recording me, and he showed it to the bigger bosses, and, I said some terrible bad words.
Huh.
So I was let go from that job. And about a week later, I had a buddy, and he's like, go get your CDL. If you get your CDL, you'll have a job right here. I already talked to my boss and this and that. And I'm like, okay. So I went and I got it, and I started working for a company doing side dumps. I worked for them for about 3 months. And then I had another guy that knows another guy from Houston who said, hey, I got some flatbeds and you'll probably make more money out here. Come and check it out. So I went, and I spent 3 months out there, and it was just not what they told me it was. They told me I was going to work Monday through Thursday and have Friday, Saturday, and Sunday off, and I was going to make more money, which in reality I was Monday through almost Sunday. And I didn't like it, so I came back. I got my job back at the side dump company, and it was kind of slow, so I didn't work probably that whole month of March in 2017, and then Tony Chavez, who was in 0028 back then, he's a musician also. We used to play together in the same band, and he told me, hey, come and play here. They're hiring JFW. So that's how I came here.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very nice. One reason we wanted to have you on, Jimmy, is obviously you left and you came back, but we thought you would be pretty honest about the reasons you left because we're always trying to get better. We know we're not perfect. We try to be. There are ways we can improve. So we wanted to talk about what made you leave and what made you come back. But what made you leave to begin with?
What made me leave was at that time I was upset. You know, there was a truck that was the driver had recently left, so I put my name to be in that truck. It was with the sleeper. And before that, when I recently started, basically when you wanted to sign up for a different truck, you know, it was based on seniority. So there was like maybe 3 occasions that I had signed up for another truck, and you know, I didn't get it, and I was like, okay, cool. You know, there was another truck, and they told me, no, you didn't get it. You know, Ivan is 1 month more than you. He started a month before you, so he's gonna get into that truck. I'm like, cool, okay. And then when that other truck was available, I signed up for it, and then it was mentioned to me that, you know, we had to put our heads together and think this one out, and this other driver has more experience than you, and that truck's for over the road. And that other driver, I had 3 months seniority over him, so that's kind of what kind of triggered me, and I was upset, and just a whole lot of stuff went on, and other drivers that are not here anymore kind of put in my head, you know, that's BS. You need to do something about it, you know. I know somebody who's hiring, I know this and that. So my head being upset, I was a hothead at that minute, and I was like, you know what, I'm leaving. So I put my 2 weeks in, and I went somewhere else.
Yeah, I remember. And just so everyone knows what you're talking about, before all the trucks were brand new, when a truck came up, when a truck opened up, you know, we had to kind of show respect and, okay, who's senior? But we did change that along the way where it just was not based on seniority. We started taking other things to account, and that's how we do it now. It's seniority, attendance, production, truck cleanliness, what else, Soup?
Attitude,
yes, you know, the creed, yeah. So, but that's what Jimmy's referring to, and I think you got passed up, like you said, a few times.
Yeah.
And then the sleeper truck was like the icing on the
and
cake.
when that came up, I mean, like it was only based, like before it was pretty much based just on seniority.
Right.
And when it was my turn, that's when like that changed, when all that other list came through, and I really didn't understand it. But you know, at the moment I was like, oh, I'm mad. You know, I really wanted that truck or whatnot, but you know, I didn't get it. I left, and I'm back.
Yep. You brought some other things up too when you left. You definitely were speaking your mind, and I learned a very big lesson from you, Jimmy. And you had told me, you know what, Jam, when I see you at the fuel aisle at night, you say hello to me, but you're also on your phone. You know.
Well, it was not just that. I mean, you know, I would come in and you'd be at the fuel island. You say, hey, Jimmy, how's it going? You know, how was your day? And then I start kind of blurting out what my day was like, and I did this, and this guy cut me off, and blah, blah, blah. And all of a sudden it'd be like, oh, okay, he's ignoring me. All right, so I'd stop there. And I know that when I left, there was probably things that I had said. There was probably things that I didn't say that were mentioned. And, you know, because rumors and stuff go around, and it got back to me, and I'm like, I've never said those things, you know. I know there was some drivers that stirred up some stuff too, and they were like, hey, you can't do me like you did Jimmy and this and that. So you know, when I came back, one of the first things that I did, you know, I shook your hand and I said, I apologize for all the shit that got stirred up, you know. But I apologize for that.
And I appreciate that. But rolling back, you did teach me a lesson, and I'm still a little guilty. You know, the afternoon, my phone does go off a lot, and everybody
I know.
needs something. But Super Dave's always taught me to love the one you're with. When you're with somebody, pay attention to that person. And then you kind of drove that point home. I'm not perfect at it, but I do thank you for that. You know, as far as everything else goes, yeah, you know, when somebody's on their way out the door, you know, maybe things get stirred up. But when you called to come back, I know Super Dave was pretty happy. Am I right, Sue?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I don't think there was never anything negative, Jimmy. You know,
Yeah.
that was always the thing, and even the rumors or anything like that. And Jam's right. We continue to try to grow and be better. You know, you mentioned to me that same thing. I say hi to you, but it always like I'm busy, and you know, we all are in the afternoons. And again, it sounds like an excuse, Jimmy, but when you're, you know, especially in Jam's position, when you have 10 people calling you or more, or the afternoons going on, it's a tough thing to touch everybody, and I know you realize that. You get that, Jam.
Well, I just want to say, you know, I think I got lucky twice. First time coming here, and then I did leave upset, and then I got lucky again. You know, I ran into Jim, and Jim asked me, "Hey, Jimmy, how's it going? How you liking it over there?" And I'm like, I'm not. I was like, well, you're always welcome to come back. You know, you did the things the right way. You put your 2 weeks notice. You stayed the full 2 weeks.
Yeah.
You know, if you want to come back, you know, talk to Super Dave, talk to Jam, and we'll go from there.
What was going on at the other place that you didn't like?
Oh, man. I felt like at the other place I was treated just like a stupid truck driver. You know, I got yelled at.
Those don't exist, just so you know.
Well,
No, I'm being serious. Those don't exist.
Right.
Yeah, because I don't want to interrupt you, Jimmy, but you know, Jam introduced you, and it's dad, grandpa, and musician, but also truck driver, a really good truck driver, Jimmy. So
I've got myself in some sticky situations, or should I say muddy situations? But
But we all have.
Yeah, it's no, you know, Jam said it yesterday. I think he was nobody's perfect, or this morning.
This morning we did.
Yeah, none of us are perfect. That's
But
the
the
thing.
thing that, you know, that I've learned from here is like when I get myself in a situation, you know, there's that saying, just stop, you know,
Yes.
before you tear something up, a pole, a fire hydrant or something.
Yeah.
The videos we were
We're
just
just talking
watching,
about that video, right?
you know, and just stop. And yeah, I was yelled at I ripped off a mud flap probably a couple of times. And I broke some really nice, what do you call it? The nut covers on the wheels.
Lug nut
Lug nut
covers?
covers, yeah.
Yeah, they were really nice, and I kind of broke a few of them on the scale, and I just got yelled at and just treated. I'm like, I don't need this. I'm, you know, I don't need to be yelled at this way.
Right.
You know, and here it's like you rip off a mud flap, you come in, you fix it, you know, and it's done. You don't get yelled at. You're not treated like a stupid truck driver. You know, if you do something wrong, you know, man up to it and like apologize or whatever you need to do, and that's next day and get it done again. You know, go out there and do it again. Don't harp on it for so long.
Gotcha. So leaving and then coming back, I mean, obviously you feel like that was a good decision. What are some of the things that you noticed coming back? Just
Ooh, when I came back, just a lot of things changed.
in 3 months.
Yeah, I mean, just little by little, just a lot of stuff, you know. I mean, ever since I started here the first time, when I started here, there was only like 50 trucks, you know. And each year it's just been growing, and things have been changing. When I came back, I think we started the holiday pay, and then after that, you know, the PTO program, and it's just been getting better and better.
Okay. Do you have any things that you think that we really do right?
The things you guys do right, I believe that you guys care, especially these two guys, you know, Jim and Dave. They're here from 5 a.m. to 5 p.m. They're the big bosses, and they're still here. And I mean, I know they've been here for a long time. They put a lot of sweat and tears into this, and a lot of thinking into what they're doing and what they want to do. And if it weren't for them, and you guys may think, or a lot of people may think, this guy's a kiss ass, but you know, it's just the truth. You know, if it weren't for them, you know, we wouldn't have a job. this company wouldn't be growing as it is and getting better.
How do you think we've treated you since you've been back?
You guys have been treating me good. I know with the growth and stuff, you guys are super busy. Like I said, I ran into Jim one time and I'm like, hey, is everything okay? You know, have I done something wrong? Have I said something wrong? Because, you know, I'll pass by you and you're just really quiet, looking down or something, you know. But, you know, I know you guys are busy. You got 100 and something employees you need to take care of. You know, it's just not me. But I did notice, you know, that he was not like other times, like, hey, Jimmy, how's it going? You know, have a good day, whatever, you know, how was your day? You know, but just like focused on something else. Yeah. But I get it. You know, I understand.
Yeah, I appreciate you asking that afternoon too, Jimmy, because there is times, I mean, we all get focused on stuff or there's stuff going on or all that kind of stuff, you know, let life get in our way. So, yeah, I mean, but I think we've had you being back has been wonderful. You know, I think you've grown quite a bit. We've grown and continue to grow. Yeah. You know, like we continually try to be better, just like we preach all the time. So yeah, it's good stuff, though. I think, Jimmy.
Do you have any current points of frustration? Is there things you think we could be doing better?
I don't think I have any frustration as far as here in the company. I mean, out on the road is a different story, but. Now here, I think it's just everything's going good. I'm really excited about our new yard we'll be moving to. I'm really excited about everybody being under the roof, one roof. I remember before I could tell like, hey, there goes so and so, and there goes so and so, and now I see like, who's that? I've never seen that guy before, you know. But then again, there's more drivers than when I first started. So.
Yeah. What's going out on the road that's frustrating?
On the road? Just people, four-wheelers, people that don't understand how we function, how the biggest frustration is probably somebody just tailgating me. You know, you got this little Subaru tailgating you, and I'm like, dude, you can't see in front of me. Why are you so close to me, you know? Another frustration could be...
hey, I got to interrupt you, Jimmy, because I'm the same way.
Yeah.
And honestly... why does it bother you so much? And I don't mean you specifically, because it bothers me just as much. Who cares if they're on your ass? Why does that? Why are you affected by it? You know what I mean?
To me, it affects me because traffic could stop in front of me, and this guy's gonna die behind me, and I'm gonna have to live with that. You know?
Yeah. That's true.
It's
just funny because I am 100% guilty of that. Like, why is it? I'm the guy now, as old as I've gotten, Jimmy. And obviously, I'm not driving a big truck anymore like you guys are on a daily basis. But in my pickup, I just pull over. I literally roll to the shoulder of the road, and I'll put my hand out the window and wave them by. Like, go on, you MFer. You know what I mean? Like, here's the road. You know, and 90% of them, when you do that, they get in front of you and they freak out. Like, I don't know what to do. Why'd this guy get out of the way?
Yeah.
You know, because they're just sheep.
Yeah.
They're just, they're like stuck to you because you're the lead sheep. Yeah. You know, they don't even understand to go by. But I am just like you, Jimmy. Why does it bother you?
Yesterday I was in a situation.
So much, you know?
I was in a situation yesterday where I was coming I-25 southbound. I was approaching 144th, and I'm scanning ahead. I'm looking at these cars getting on from 144th onto I-25. So I'm like, I let off the throttle because I know these guys are going to try to beat me or whatever. I let it off, and I see this maroon. It's a Kia Telluride. He goes in front. I flash my lights so he can, merge in. He doesn't merge in. I'm waving my hand. I slow down a little bit more. He slows down too, opens his window, and flips me off. And I'm like, dude, I'm trying to be nice.
Right? Isn't that crazy?
And that's an acceleration lane.
Yeah.
Right? They need to go on. Yeah, Jimmy.
Yeah, he's the one that
he went back on the on-ramp and to get out again. So it's like, oh, man.
Yeah.
I think it bothers me because I don't want to worry about what's behind me, too.
Yeah.
There's plenty of things to worry about in front. What if I hit the brakes too hard or something happens like Jimmy said? Like, it's just not safe, and you're going to be the one that takes the whooping,
Yeah.
So, yeah. I'm not as bad as you. Maybe in a few years I'll pull over. Right now, I could just get off the throttle. I won't brake check anybody ever. 'Cause
Yeah,
it's
no.
so
No,
dangerous.
no, but just
But
let
I've
them go
never
by.
done that.
Yeah, if I'm doing 55 and you're tailgating me, you ain't gonna put up with 50. So I just slow down, and then next thing you know, they go around you
Yeah.
and they're out of your life.
It's funny how long it takes them to realize to go around you, though.
Right.
Like they just slow down to 50 and they
Right.
just stay there. It's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to tell when I drove. I mean, if another driver was following me and they were on tailgating me, I'd get right on the radio and go, either come around me or get off my ass.
Yep.
I don't
Stingray
need you
still
back
does
there.
that. Here's Stingray. Yeah,
Good.
Stingray do that.
Good. It makes no sense.
Hi, Jimmy.
Or a
So
50 Cent concert.
Yeah, there you go.
sounds like everything's going well then.
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. Who do you go to if you need some?
Who would I go to?
Yep.
I usually go to you or Super Dave.
Okay. Cool. You hear that, everybody? If you need some, come talk to us.
Or ask Jimmy. I mean, I know you're friendly. I know you're welcome to help anybody or anything, Jimmy.
That's
I mean,
that's one of the things I like to do. When we get new drivers and they get into a truck and it's preloaded for Coors, I always throw my name out there and my number and call me. And I always like to give them a little bit direction. I'll send them a pin where the dairy's at, where the scale's at, how to get in and out. Like Johnson's Dairy, you have to go scale in at one place and then come around and go dump somewhere else and then go back to the scale. So I usually like to help out somebody that is new and doesn't know, well, not new, but, anybody who hasn't done stuff like that. I'm always open for that, for helping.
Sounds like you should be a trainer.
I am.
He's a trainer. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, you guys, because that is part of our culture. The veterans around here set the mood for the rookies. And I do say this a lot, that the rookies immediately come in the door, and within the first hour, 2 hours, one day, they're looking to the veterans for what's it like really around here.
Right.
And they get that impression within the first day. They come away saying, this is a pretty cool place.
Yeah.
And it's how they're treated by the veterans. If somebody was to come up to Jimmy or one of the other trainers or one of the other folks, because, it looks like he knows what he's doing. Hey, can you tell me how to get onto the fuel cloud? Or can you tell me, how to write this up for the mechanics? And if that veteran says, sorry, bud, nobody ever told me, then that new guy is going to be like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
Not cool place. I don't think I'm going to like it here. But so we rely on folks like Jimmy and, Dustin and Stingray and all these guys that have been here for a long time to welcome and to educate and be that ambassador.
Well, like for me, on the first day of training, I like to break the ice and, and start a good conversation with them and tell them how I started, talk about the mistakes I've made, talk about my family. They start talking about their family, start getting a relationship going with this new driver so they can feel comfortable on their new day. They don't feel stressed out. They don't feel like, oh, shit, this guy, I'm right here. This guy's going to, they'll be scared or something, But I like to open up to that. And except for one guy, it couldn't happen, Mr. Angry Dan, but that's another story. For another day, probably.
Angry Dan. That's right. I forgot about Angry
him.
Dan.
Yeah, it's tough when you get a nickname right out of the gate and your nickname is Angry Dan.
Yeah.
Why are you mad, driver?
Well, I was with him 2 days, and like I say, I like to open up and break that ice and talk about, family. I'm divorced. I've been divorced since 2004, and he was just mad because I guess his wife had left him. And 2 days later, he came up to Super Dave, and he's like, you know what? He's like, I don't need a trainer no more. I can do this on my own. And I want a 13-speed. I'm like,
Oh, calm down.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the same guy that's going to go from town to town to town and
Never be happy.
Yeah, how's the people in last town you were at?
Yeah.
Yeah. They sucked. Well, that's probably what you're going to find in the next town.
Yeah, and Jimmy, we talk about it too, and I love to bring it up, is the gift of being able to teach when you guys train. And not one time have we interviewed anybody or spoke to anybody that they just don't rave about you guys that are training and the way you treat each other and the way you treat them. And yeah, it's been good. And I happened to be able to golf this weekend, and it's just me and my buddy. So you get paired with different people, and the two people that we were paired with father and son, but he was a retired teacher and his son was teaching on summer break. And it was interesting because for one, I joked with him. I said, we ought to give you guys a shout out because of putting up with the kids in today's society, and they're like, yeah, it's pretty tough. But as we were golfing with them, they talked a lot of shop, and one's retired, one's on summer break, and you just got the feeling that they cared and they enjoyed about teaching. They talked about the new coach coming into the high school. They talked about a couple of the other teachers. They talked about the curriculum, and you're like, that makes you feel good that, we got a couple teachers here, even when one's retired, that care, and we need so much of that for our kids. But same thing, just like you mentioned, Jimmy, you share your background and the mistakes you made, and that just gives somebody a leg up on what they can do and what they can achieve here. So yeah,
definitely.
Good.
Rolling back to the following too close, because I love talking about that. But yesterday I got a couple videos, and our driver was just kind of like, you mentioned the word sheep, and he wasn't distracted, but maybe was thinking about something else, because in the two videos you see him
mentally distracted, not distracted at a phone or radio or anything going off.
Exactly.
Just kind of daydreaming.
Yeah, so just drove his truck until you can't get any closer. You know what I mean? And then just going to hang out there until the camera tells you, hey, you're following too close, and then backs off.
Yeah.
That happened twice. So maybe with the four-wheelers, it's a little more common where they're going to drive because, they like to drive in packs, right? I'm going to get as close as I can to the pack leader and just sit here.
Yeah. Makes you wonder, why can't those cameras be in every car made?
Right. Well, I'm sure they can be, and they will be one day.
Yeah. I don't know whether it's true. Maybe Serge can help us out, but I heard to even get insurance in Russia, you're required to have a camera in your car.
Wow.
Really?
I don't know whether
Yeah, I've heard
that's
that.
true.
They have more dash cams than any other country.
Yeah.
Everybody's got
I don't
one.
think that'll ever happen in Mexico. The way they drive down there, no.
Yeah, I just wonder if there'd be some law in the U.S. that's, you're invading my privacy. We could do it as a private company, but can, manufacturers or insurance companies mandate that?
Yeah.
The insurance companies, they have that thing now where it tells you if you're using your phone or not. So like, you could sign up, and if you're not using your phone, you get a 10% discount, right? I'm a little skeptical of that though, because if you have an accident and it shows that you were using the phone at the time,
Right.
Does the insurance company be like, oh yeah, by the way,
You're canceled.
Yeah.
or we're
We're not insuring you. Yeah.
And just to elaborate a little more on my comment, I really wasn't clear at all, but not necessarily the camera, but at least the device to say you're following too close.
Right.
I think that's the
So-
push for the autonomous car, Dave.
Well, totally, yeah. I mean, we would never have an accident if everybody had that gap.
Right.
Right?
Yeah, I guess with the adaptive cruise control, the technology is already there to do that, Dave. Instead of just backing you off, it could tell you, hey, I think that accident mitigation is probably one of the best things ever.
Yeah.
I haven't felt it in our vehicles yet, you know what I mean? But that's gotta be, I just love that feature,
Right.
So.
Yeah, like we talked about with Rick, every piece of technology has made us a little better, a little safer, a little further down that road, the advent of, the automatic slack adjusters, the anti-lock brakes, the disc brakes, yada, yada, yada. I was just talking with our trailer manufacturer yesterday, and he was out visiting another manufacturer back in Kentucky. They build all the Ravens trailers, and we've got some issues with some cracking, and it's cracking on a suspension that we've ran for 20 years, and we've never had a problem with it. He came out and kind of addressed it here about 30 days ago. We thought we had it figured out, and what he explained to me last night, that this manufacturer brought to his attention, they've got cracking on every one of their trailers that has Bendix disc brakes.
Wow.
Right? And it's the same exact suspension that has had drum brakes for 50 years.
Wow.
Well, the disc brakes actually pinch and grab so hard, they figured out it's trying to roll those hangers.
Wow.
And they're
Cracking
gonna
them.
and they're gonna have to beef up what the hanger's attached to, because it is literally trying to grab that whole axle and
Twist
roll
it.
it. Just twist it right under.
Wow.
And he was like, it was an aha moment for me, Brother Dave. And I'm like, damn, Cliff, you telling it to me, it's an aha moment for me.
Right.
You know, and he goes, those disc brakes are amazing.
Huh.
Absolutely amazing. And they haven't seen it with the other manufacturers yet. It's solely with the one, and I don't even want to mention it again now. But anyway, because they think the other brands don't work as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, and let me rephrase that. It's not that they don't work as well. They don't grab instantly like the one.
Got it.
Like
So-
Bendix brakes.
Yeah.
Is that what you mean?
Thanks for not mentioning it again, Dave.
They're better than drums, no matter what manufacturer, better than drums.
Absolutely, yeah. The discs are better, but
Yeah.
the
And
way
then
that
there's even a leader in the disc brake.
absolutely, yeah. He said it never occurred to him, but the way they grab, it's instant. And you think about the old drum brakes, that shoe just pushes out. It's just a wedge, right? This is a clamp. I mean, those discs, they're clamped on, man. So yeah,
Well, Bendix made drum systems too. They've been around forever.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Leader, I would think they'd be leader in air valves, brakes, all
Yeah.
sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
They
Bendix
are-
is the one who makes the wingman, the accident mitigation,
Yeah.
all of that. So they're supplying leading manufacturers parts. So yeah,
Very
yeah,
cool.
great system.
Jimmy,
Their
what-
system isn't failing. It's what their system is attached to,
Right.
Yeah.
right? Because their system is so good.
What do you think of your Freightliner? Do you like that?
I was hoping I was never going to get into a Freightliner because, I got to drive the older Freightliners that were here, and I just didn't like them. When I got into this Freightliner, there's a lot more space. It drives really good, and I'm good with it. I'm good. It's not my preferred one, but I'm good with it.
But why not? Because of looks, or you just said it drives nice. It's probably it's the roomiest cab.
Yeah.
It's got-
At first, when I got in it, I felt like I was driving on the left lane when I was on the right lane.
Yeah.
But
Thought you were in a motorhome?
Yeah. But I'm good with it. It's a little ugly truck, but it does what it has to do, and it gets me the
Could you
same
just speak
amount
your mind?
money.
It's a little ugly truck.
I think the new model Cascadias are pretty good looking.
I think they're futuristic, Dave.
Yeah,
I like
yeah.
that look. I know the last time I drove, I couldn't keep the right side of the trailer off the line.
Right.
I was just like, oh my! I look over and there's where the trailer's sitting on the line. There's where the trailer's sitting. I'm like, I got to be the other way to drive this. Yeah, it's a weird
I'm
feeling.
the opposite way. I just felt like I was on the left lane there.
That's funny.
They are wide.
Yeah.
Have you taken it through the silos at Arcosa?
Oh, yes, I have.
Oh, man.
Yes, I have. I have to really slow down. I have to get out and look. Am I gonna
Yep.
hit that? Am I gonna hit that? No.
There you go. That's the key. Jimmy, we're going to move on to some more JFW business, but please chime in. We want to hear more from you.
Okay.
Okay?
Absolutely.
Dale and Dispatch wants to bring up start times. If everybody can please be out of the yard on time, especially this time of the year, it's super helpful. Every load counts, every rock counts, every grain of sand counts. So when you guys are starting late, it just puts us behind right from the jump.
And I read that, Jam, and I know we talked about it a couple of weeks ago, that we ask everybody here be here at 5. Our start time is at 5. We don't ding anybody till 6, so you have an hour to get here. And I mentioned on the one podcast about Danielle, my oldest daughter, there having that culture that her start time is 7, and they're at 6:53 or 6:57. They're there before that.
Right.
I think what we're talking about and Dale's talking about at this time of year is our culture is to start at 5.
Right.
And that's where we can use the help. Or before,
Yeah.
run up and grab that extra load. I know we need to finish talking to dispatch today, but even Brandon mentioned that 2 of their yards on the asphalt side are open 24 hours a day now. Maybe we can even grab an early load into one of the plants there out of Fry's to help out also.
Nice.
So a lot of different stuff this time of year because you got all the daylight we need. It's nice out. Projects are getting done. So I think that whole comment is, this is our culture. Let's be a little earlier than be at 6 o'clock.
Right. I like that. Yeah.
You know, the kicker, too, I was just chatting with Linda this morning because we had a driver that overslept, and Dale woke him up when he called at, I think it was 5:20. But I said, I think I have the biggest adrenaline rush of any time when you wake up that late.
Right.
And you're like,
man.
oh, my God. And you start messing up because you're trying to grab stuff and move so fast and everything. And then it affects the whole rest of your day. And Linda commented, I feel behind the whole day when
you're
when I
always
oversleep
late
like
the rest
that.
of the day.
Yeah.
It can be noon and you're still late.
Yeah.
Right.
And so that start time is so important because everybody lines up at the pit. You get a jump in that line, and I used to love it and I was never first in line. I'm not a real, morning dude, but when I did get there, it was great. I'd be coming back for round 2, and there'd still be people just leaving the pit.
Right.
I love that.
Yeah.
I've been first up at Boral before, but I've never been first at Fry.
Yeah. I don't know
that's
how you do that.
That's like an overnight camping trip.
Yeah.
People sleep up there to be first. We got some guys here that are first.
Yeah, I know. The last time me and Dave drove quite a bit, was we were running out of Boral there, and I know Russ was an early bird, and a couple of times if you beat Russ or you were right behind Russ and they were really busy, you could get your first load delivered and be back, and there was still the same line of trucks,
Right.
Sitting there, and you're like, that sucked, but man, it was good to be that first round, right?
Yeah.
Better to be
Somebody's
ahead.
got to do it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Don't forget that one extra load a day is 10 to 13 grand a year.
Yeah.
Who doesn't want that?
Exactly, Jim. Yeah.
I've-
And a little bit of traffic. I mean, it's a fast round.
Yep.
It's a good.
I was talking to a driver. He actually, I don't know if I talked about this on the podcast before, but I'll tell it again if I did. Driver approached me and said, "Hey, Jam, I really love it here. I'm just having trouble making enough money." So I'm like, okay, well, let me do a little research and look at your times and see what you're doing. Later that day, to come find out, he has a second job after work here to make up. He's a little bit behind, and I just started looking at his day, and I just explained a few things to him, like, how would you like to not have that second job? If you just go get that first load in the morning, and maybe you catch that last load at night, you could be home with your family way before you are right now. And
Right.
I think that's been working out for him. I'll have to check back in, but go get that early load
Yeah, absolutely.
and go get that last one too. There's 2 loads. That's 26 grand a year.
Yeah, exactly, Jim.
You know what I
That
mean?
10 to
That's-
13,000 I was just going to capitalize on that when we did the 3% at January 1 increase for everyone. That was minimum 7 grand. So you couple that with your 10 to 13, that's a $20,000 a year increase.
Yeah, 2 loads a day
know?
is the difference between a $75,000 guy and a $100,000
Yeah.
guy. We got $100,000 guys here, by the way.
Absolutely.
Just go get it. Yep. Jim, what's going on?
That do everything.
They do it all.
Yeah, not
Yeah,
one
they're not
place, not
hardwired.
one
They're not,
location.
They don't
Yeah.
just run central.
Yeah, I just have to emphasize that.
Yeah, good point, Dave.
Yeah.
When do you guys want to talk about what's going on at Yard 23?
Yeah, I just wanted to bring it up since we're having the podcast today. We went by. Huh?
That's a new movie out.
Sore subject for me.
Well, the sore subject is all the electrical boxes and the meter stand all got put in this week, and we were supposed to have an inspection yesterday, and the city inspectors didn't show up. So I think that's the reason Dave's a little upset.
Oh, man.
But good news is, the set's there for the meter. Dave's talked to XL, and the minute the meter's set, we'll have power in there. Scooby put
They're
some.
going to energize us.
Yeah, going to energize us off the pole, not just hook us up, energize us, right?
Yeah.
Energize us.
We'll be able to do so many more activities.
Yeah, exactly. Got to have some power. And Scooby and stuff's got some furniture set up in the office and the scale house there. The door's finished to go into the shop. We've got it set up to have there's a high spot in the floor and the concrete. We're going to have that ground down in the next week and stuff. And power's the big thing.
Right.
We're back to working on a fuel tank. We've got got our hands on a 12,000 gallon fuel tank, which will be bigger than 2,000 gallons bigger than the one here.
Nice.
So yeah, it's really coming together. It seems like a slow process, but I just wanted to keep everybody up to date. We got John Borquez and Pat and Scooby, they're moving blocks this week. We'll probably be moving blocks for the next 2 weeks, but yeah, we're knocking the blocks out, getting those moved over there. So yeah,
Nice to finally get a dent in that. I mean, there's almost been some anxiety, like, oh my gosh, we
Gotta move.
Yeah.
we gotta move.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
Almost.
We gotta move.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
You're on edge, Dave.
Yeah,
How many
seriously.
blocks are you hauling? What do you weigh?
Put another block on.
Or is it empty?
Which route are you going? You had JB accused me of micromanaging this morning. I'm like, yep, if you can save 2 minutes, go that route.
Yep.
yeah.
Absolutely.
What do you mean you only got 17 blocks? Can you fit 18?
Yeah.
Why did you-
Why are
have
we
you-
hauling 86,000? We have an overweight permit on. Put 2 more blocks on.
Right. Need to get it done. So yeah, we're just clicking along.
The
And
funny thing too, though, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to
That's
interrupt
right.
Jim, but we brought the loader over there on Saturday, So I jumped in the pickup with Pat, and we kind of trolled around and drove around. Pat's like, "Yep, that's where we're going to set the blocks," and I'm like, "You're going to fit 900 blocks right there? No way!"
It's crazy when you say that too, Dave, because I'm like, all of a sudden I started doing math. I'm like, okay, 4. That's only 12. There's only each pile's 12 blocks. We need 900 blocks stored over there. You're like, oh shit.
yep. Yeah.
It's kind of crazy how you can accumulate 900 blocks too
Right?
without even knowing it.
Right?
Yeah, when we made the bends and stuff over
Right.
there, Jam, and you
Nobody
have
was
to tear them down.
counting.
Yeah, it's just like, wow, that's crazy. So, yeah, good. So good stuff, you guys. And I think we'll probably, the move-in date will probably be, I don't know, middle August maybe. I think we're shooting for, because we still need to be out of there. We've Fiore bought our old piece there, and they're planning to start moving some material in there. So yeah.
When's the actual deadline to be out?
Well, the deadline should be August 1st.
Okay.
It really should be that. And
Gotcha.
and Mike Fiore and Fiore and Sons, they've been gracious about working with us and stuff. They get it.
Right.
They're not in a hurry. But I think the main thing we've ran into, and maybe we've talked about it on the podcast, but we haven't been able. We need to move some dirt over there and do some pile relocations. But our loaders are kind of tied up. Moving the blocks, we need to get that done. We haven't been able to find a rental loader anywhere. I mean, there is no extra loaders in this town. We looked at buying another loader possibly, and we found a couple used ones at Wagner at Caterpillar. They took all their used loaders for sale and put it back in their rental fleet
Oh, wow.
because they were so short. So
Everyone we looked at that I called on
Yeah.
was like, oh no, we put that back in rental. Oh no,
Yeah.
we put that back in rental. Oh no, we put that back in rental. So they're that short equipment that they're not even trying to sell their stuff. They're just putting it back in rental.
yeah,
It's crazy.
that's how crazy it is. And then our loader, we had a brake problem on it, and it broke. Mike had to try to find parts. I was running the backhoe and blew a hydraulic cylinder, so we got parts for that. Mike got all that. Mike, he's got enough stuff going on with the trucks, and then I go break shit for him. So he was not very happy
Yeah.
on the equipment side. So just, the same stuff that goes on the truck side too, equipment problems. And we've got a lead on a big rental loader, but they have it in the shop for the next 2 weeks. And it's what was it, like a WA 500, Dave, 8-yard bucket. So we'll be able to knock some stuff out when we get to it. But yeah, just wanted to go over it. And like Jimmy said, excited to be under one roof and wanted to keep everybody up on the progress that's going on.
Yeah, a WA 500 is pretty close to a 980, I'm pretty sure, because they used to use those up at Hall Irwin.
Yeah,
8-yard bucket, Dave.
Yeah. So
That's pretty much double our 950. Our
Yeah,
950 is
that's
a
a good-sized loader there.
4.5 if you cram it full. So I literally just got a text as we're talking about it. We passed inspection
Nice.
on the meter, so there will be a meter release sent to XL at the end of the day today.
Nice.
The electrician wants me to call him, so I hope it's not bad news.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Good.
So we'll have fuel there day one, you think?
No.
Yes. I'm being more positive. Don't let him tease you. Fuel the first day.
No.
Yes. It might be an extension cord ran across the yard, but we'll
Yes, we'll have fuel there day one. Just swing by Shoko.
I feel a little bit of under-promising, over-delivering here.
No.
That glass is half full, yes.
We'll be running. That's amazing.
You know, if we could control it, we would.
Right.
You know what I mean? There's
Yeah.
just
Too many
these
moving
items, because they're not something you use on a daily basis or can get on a daily basis. It's out of our control, and it is extremely frustrating.
What would we have done if we
frustrating.
closed in the wintertime and we had no power, so you couldn't heat the scale house with the plumbing and the toilet and all that stuff in there?
Yeah, it would be.
It would have been.
Yeah, there had to be a month there when they finally shut off power, Dave, that was a little iffy, and we were surprised things weren't
Yeah,
froze.
they closed
That's
it in
true,
February.
'cause-
Yeah, we were like,
Well, they
wow,
did
didn't-
bring in a generator, remember? Because Darren was trying to run the scale house with a generator. I remember Gary
I
saying
didn't know
that.
if that was running heat though. Enough heat just to run the generator.
Yeah.
But or generator run the heat.
Yeah.
But yeah, Dave, you're right. The whole
would've sucked.
Yeah, taking that plant down was
Yeah.
done.
The thing is, we
Done wrong.
still have, even when they trip the trigger and we have electricity, we still have to go in and redo all the electrical in the shop because we knocked out one wall between two buildings. We knocked out a wall in the side of the building and put in a door. And we knocked out another hole in a wall and put in a man door. And we had to move all the electrical that was in the way. There was a gas furnace hanging from the ceiling. We have no gas in there. I mean, we do, but it's all just open and exposed. I mean, we need to button all of that back up, put outlets back in, run conduit. I mean, there is a lot to be done. So, yeah, it's not as easy as going, hey, we got power, let's move.
Right.
Because we got nothing for a shop. I mean, we don't even know what lights work in the shop.
Right.
We haven't been in there with power yet. When we bought it, it had no power,
Right. Got to change those to LEDs right away.
right?
Yeah, that's the old fluorescents. They really got to go.
Yeah.
And I heard you say the fuel in the first 30 days. So, there you have it.
That is something though. If you're thinking about fluorescent or LEDs, Jim, I mean, I'm really because we switched everything here a year ago.
Big difference.
Big difference. I mean, it is
awesome.
not only the light, but it people always tell you when they come in, oh, that's an energy savings. That's an energy savings. We literally save $300 to $500 a month on our electric bill with the LEDs.
Wow.
It was a shocker. So just to go over there, if we have to do work, we might as well put the LEDs in for the lighting. But yeah, anybody that's thinking about that for your home, it's truly a savings.
Yeah.
I'm so bad, Jim. I've got LEDs in my garage. I took the fluorescents out.
Yeah, that's what I did, Dave.
I was out there the other morning, and I was just doing something out in the backyard. And I knew I was going to be going back in the garage, and I thought to myself, those are LEDs. They're cheap. I don't need to turn it off.
Just let them on.
Leave them on.
Oh, that's funny.
Speaking of progress, any word on new truck deliveries?
Yeah,
Dun, dun.
yeah. I kind of wanted to keep you up to date on that too. So we have 3 more done the next 2 weeks, right, Dave? Next 2 to 3.
Well, there's one being done right now.
Right
it's
now.
it's literally waiting to be cleared. It's built, waiting to be cleared for delivery. We could, as soon as I hear, like I might hear today, we could either go pick it up, or what we're waiting on is there are 8 trucks that have a firm date of being built the end of the month between the 26th and 29th. So that'll make a total of 9 trucks, the one that's there now, plus 8 more, plus the 2 we have, and then there's 4 more scheduled to be built August 22nd. So what we're kind of entertaining doing, because there will be such a large group, it's just so much more efficient because of flight costs and trucking and fuel costs, it's much cheaper if they deck the trucks, so we can bring 3 back at a time. So we're kind of rolling the dice. 2 more weeks isn't going to make us or break us, or actually a week and a half here.
Right.
If they have, if they can complete those 8, we can deck them, because that would be 9 trucks, the one we have, plus the 8, 3 trucks. We just have 3 flights, bring back 3, bring back 3, bring back 3.
Right.
That way we're only paying for fuel for 1 truck instead of 3. Flights for 3 trucks instead of 9.
Who undecks them?
We do.
Do we?
Yeah, well,
The tow
it
truck.
depends. MHC, we've done it here before, but MHC will do it also. It was kind of funny because, all of that at the factory doesn't do that. They hire that. Every manufacturer uses active truck. I don't know what it's called, truck delivery, active. what is
Truck
it? Jim?
services,
Active
something like
services?
that. Yeah.
Anyway,
Something like that, yeah.
so they specialize in. They actually have facilities near every major plant, be it Kenworth, Peterbilt, Freightliner, wherever. That's what they've become, right? Is they deliver new trucks. Well, they deck the trucks, right? So yesterday when I was dealing with Rick, who was on last week from MHC, I said, hey, what about we just deck the next 2-3 trucks? We bring back 3 at a time. And he's like, well, let me reach out. I got to see what they do. Those are actives. They're called blocks, right? That the front axle sits on and then it's locked in the kingpin. Mm-hmm. And Rick's like, they don't loan those out. They won't let us have them. And I'm like, I didn't ask to have them. We have our own. Let me know what they need and we'll ship our shit out there. Screw active.
Right.
I put that in a text, and Rick, if you're listening, it probably didn't read the way I meant it. But screw active. We have our own blocks, man. We're self-sufficient. So anyway, yeah, Rick's such a rock star. I mean, where there's a will, there's a way, and that guy has a will,
right?
And he'll make a way.
He'll create the
so
way.
yeah, I mean, if we need to swap out the blocks, the whatever, you know what I mean? So we'll get creative and get it figured out. Those are the things that are in our control,
right.
And we can always figure that stuff out.
Sure.
The things that are out of our control, that is frustrating.
But interesting about the trucks too, just as a little side note, is we picked the first one up and everybody got in trouble because the truck, since we drove it and we had it insured, fully insured and everything else, but since we didn't pay for the truck, it wasn't our truck and we weren't supposed to pick it up, and we got away with it the one time. So
when you say got away with it, we didn't even know.
Yeah, we were told we got away with it, is what we were told. Is you got away with it.
Right, but after the fact, because we
after
didn't
the
know.
fact.
I mean,
we didn't do it secretly.
Yeah, just to be clear, we didn't try pulling something over on someone that we didn't even know was a problem.
And you didn't cancel the funding after you took the truck, right?
Well, it turns out it was a problem because we took the truck and it wasn't funded.
Right.
So, yeah, instead of the truck getting here, we getting it prepped, they getting it prepped, everything done to it, and then paying for it. It's usually how it works. We have to pay for them before we even have them now, before they're even in the yard. Just the way society is. Even though they're fully insured, nobody owns them. So, yeah, another little step in the process.
And that's just the Kenworths. What about the Pete's? Any word on the long-nosed Pete's?
I haven't checked. I don't know where we're at on those. I know we went from 15 of them to 10 of them, and I know we're still locked on for 5, and they said last quarter. So
gotcha.
Could be October, could be December 31st.
Or January.
Hell, yeah. Could be March.
Yeah.
I know a guy that might be waiting for one.
I'll wait till March for my birthday.
Okay.
That'd be good. Birthday truck, right?
There you go.
Yeah.
Right.
Another thing we got going on, I sent out a bamboo announcement the other day. We are currently looking for more bulk drivers. Those are the pneumatic tankers. You'd be working with Rob White, who's an awesome guy. The pneumatic tanker division, all those guys, they're kind of, they're JFW, but they're kind of in a niche position, and they got their own clique going, and they really get it done. It's a super important position at JFW, and yeah, without those guys, we'd be in a lot of trouble.
Yep.
So.
Being late and missing that's a rough division to be in.
Yeah.
We almost can't have it. It's not an option.
Yeah, it's not like there's 90 other end dumps to go do that job.
Exactly.
Backing it up, right?
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
It's very time sensitive. So
yeah, I mean, when you can only get 2 loads a day out of Laramie or Pueblo or wherever the case may be that we're grabbing stuff out of. So,
Right now, depending on where you're going, it is a lot of windshield time, either Laramie twice, Pueblo twice, or some more local stuff,
Yeah, Wheatland, Wyoming.
Yep. Ultimately, Rob wants somebody that'll be able to unload as well instead of just shuttling. But, just throw your name in the hat here. We could use the help, and it does pay a little bit more percentage-wise. And some guys do better in the tanker division than the end-up division.
Sure. And the reason we're throwing it out,
too,
is there's 90 end-up drivers.
Right.
And we're just looking for a couple more bulkers, so maybe everybody didn't get the word. If you're an end-up driver and like to try it, like to see it, just get a hold of Jam, get a hold of Rob, get a hold of Dispatch. Just let us know, you guys.
Yep. I've done that job before. I used to drive to Craig, Colorado once a day, come back and unload over there in Henderson. It's a different gig. It's the end-dump gig is got to get that next load, This gig, you're going to get a load. I mean, if you're not shuttling, you're unloading, you're going to actually be in one spot for 40 minutes, watching gauges and getting out of the truck and stretching your legs a little more, you know. So it's a good gig.
Yep. Yeah. So we could use some help. If you need to do something different, let us know.
Yep. If you want to become more valuable, let us know.
Yeah. Yeah, the most valuable person here can do everything, right?
That's right.
Yep.
Absolutely. What's going on with the Gap project, guys?
Yeah, somebody asked me the other day, and we just happened to be over at Brannon discussing their dispatch system that they're using, a new one they're looking at. And anyway, the Gap project was brought up, and everybody knows we hauled on it for the last, I know, 2 summers really heavy. The first summer maybe not so much, but anyway, it was mentioned that they're hauling the last 17,000 tons of asphalt down there, doing the last paving, and they're struggling because they're having to do it at night. They're trying to get belly dumps because of their shuttle buggy they have feeding into the paver, but then they're on time restrictions, so they're hauling the asphalt all the way from up here to down there, but only have like 6 hours that they can do it.
Yeah,
And
that was
then-
kind of weird, wasn't it?
Right,
Like they
it
can't
must
work
be the
past
highway
midnight or something?
Yeah,
or?
the highway shut down and the
Yeah.
highway open up. So anyway, it's just a struggle for them right now, but that's the last little bit they got done, and,
Yeah,
and
they'll be done.
They'll be celebrating. So whoever asked about the Gap project, that's what we know about it, and I know it made that corridor down to the Springs a heck of a lot better than what it used to be.
You know, I haven't been down there yet.
I haven't been down
Yeah,
there
it's-
since it was in the middle of construction, and then
Yeah.
it was pretty messed up.
Have you been to the Springs, Jimmy? Is it?
I have. It's pretty nice now to get down there. Before it was just like zigzagging, and the lanes would get narrow, and just it'd be scary to be next to another truck on the same lanes there. So
Right.
yeah,
Right.
it's nice now.
Yeah.
I
Maybe
try
some-
not to go south of I-70. It's my,
It's your line.
that's my line. If I could do some, when I go to pick a business or a restaurant, or it's, all right, where's this one at?
You know, I don't want to get off subject here, but I'm gonna. So because it's what we do. You're just talking about the widening, and it popped in my mind. God, it'd be so nice if they continue the widening up north.
Yeah.
You know, where it stops there at 66. You're just like, well, I mean, you have those couple areas right
Yeah.
through there, and it just doesn't make sense. So then I was thinking, because I was just talking to that buddy of mine last night from Texas about the Buc-ee's gas station that they're going to put in.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
Buc-ee's.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I called it a truck stop, and he's like, trucks aren't allowed there.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, what do you mean? I thought it was the Buc-ee's truck stop. He goes, no, they don't allow trucks. So I got to dig into that. He said all of those in Texas are only for cars,
What? I'm
right? And I thought it was Buc-ee's truck stop.
I did too.
And he went in and,
I
you know,
thought I read an article where they're going to have like 60 fueling stations for trucks there.
Right. I thought
for
they
cars.
I thought they had the.
He clarified, so
Wow.
I'm
Yeah. We
Jam's
need to-
looking it up right now.
Yeah. We got
Wow.
to dig into this.
Right?
Yeah.
This is
I
hot
thought
information.
It was
You're getting it right off the presses. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I thought that fueling, including gas and diesel, they had the most world record for the most continuous pumps.
Yes. So that trailer place that he owned when he owned Vantage Trailers, they built. It's now the second largest Buc-ee's, but it was right behind their place there in Katy, Texas. And he said they literally had to build their own off ramps a year and a half after they opened because they kept clogging the freeway because the cars would stack up to get off. Buc-ee's is actually a destination because you can shop there. You do everything. So the wives want to go there and all of that stuff. But anyway, he said the tankers, they go through a load of gasoline an hour.
Oh, wow. Well, here it is. It's no secret. Buc-ee's does not allow semis at most of its 34 locations. Signs at every entrance state in big bold letters, no 18-wheelers.
Wow.
So I don't know what most means. And we're talking about Buc-ee's, B-U-C-E-E apostrophe S.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. That's the Buc-ee's. Yeah.
But he said everything about them is amazing.
Yeah,
I mean,
their-
everything
Their barbecue. I watched an interview with the owner.
Yeah.
Dave. Their barbecue. They went and got an award-winning chef that
Really?
is the same barbecue chef that teaches every one of their locations how to barbecue, how to smoke.
Yeah.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
He said they're.
And when they start their employees off, everything is supposed to be world class.
yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
They must have a good culture there.
The Chick-fil-A of automotive tourist stop, right?
Yeah, right.
Of-
For gas.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can't say truck stops,
Yeah.
huh? I guess if we're going to say
I was
Yeah,
gonna
so
say
I'm
that,
interested
yeah,
to
and
know
I'm like,
whether
oh,
the
what am I
one
gonna
up
say?
north is going to be a truck stop.
auto
I just-
stop.
I just assumed, right? You know what happens when you do that.
Are they going to have charging stations?
Yeah. Hey, you want to know something else that's weird? You guys all know I was just up in Oregon for that triathlon my wife did this weekend. You can't pump your own gas up there.
Right, I've heard that.
It's the weirdest thing.
Two states in the nation, Oregon and New Jersey.
Well, that's stupid. It was funny. I pulled into, and you know me, I'm like, so why can't you pump your own gas here, man? I don't know, bro. I just moved here from Hawaii. It's just my job. All right, thanks, bro.
If you pull off with the pump in your tank, with pump handle in your tank at a full serve place, there's something wrong. I mean, I could see that's the only reason, like liability, I guess.
Yeah, that's
Not that it's super dangerous pumping gas,
something.
but I remember growing up in Queens, that was a job. I never did that job, but they had gas attendants everywhere you went.
Well, I thought
back in the day,
you
like
had
in
the
the 70s.
full service side,
Right,
right?
yeah.
When
A
I
lot of
was
housewives
little-
would pull in there.
Yeah, when I was little,
Right.
pretty much all the gas stations. I mean, the self-service came along when I was like 10 or something.
Right.
Before that, it was full service. The dude was almost they were in uniforms, and they'd get your gas going, then they'd do your windshield, check your oil.
They'd
the
always
whole
have a
nine.
wad of
Right.
cash on them. Mm-hmm. They'd always have that big ball of cash on them.
Yeah. Right?
Yep.
Yeah.
What's going on with Saturday work?
Yeah, I guess I wanted to throw that out and just talk about that too, because the plants did stop taking trucks on Saturday, the gravel side, and that would be the Brannon ready mix plants. But that does not mean that we're out of work or anything like that. In fact, it's kind of a little bit funny because it's the cement shortage. There's not enough cement, obviously, to go around. So that's the shortage, whether it be getting it railed in here to town, whether it's labor, whether it's production, whether it's breakdowns, there's a shortage of cement. But so they stop Saturdays but ask for extra material during the week if we can get it. So I don't know how that quite helps the shortage, but that's where we're at. But
Right.
Also, we reached right back out to the asphalt side of Brannon, and we can pull loads out of Fairplay the rest of the summer long. There's all sorts of different work. We contacted AI. They're letting us haul down to Castle Rock. There's a lot of different stuff out there. And I just didn't want a misconception of, it's slowing up. Probably a lot of guys will be happy about Saturdays. I don't want to work Saturdays either, but I guess my point to that is if you can get an extra load during the week, you better get it. No more sitting around. Knock that load off during the week, and more than likely we'll have more Saturdays off. But it's not because we're out of work.
Right. It sounded like we were super busy this past Saturday. You and Super Dave were on, weren't you?
Yeah, I was. I didn't come in, but
It was supposed to be my Saturday.
Oh yeah, it
and
was
I
right.
gone.
Your Saturday.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Soup, we were pretty busy, huh?
Yeah. At one point, Randy kind of said, "Oh shoot," without the O's. But I think he overlooked a couple of loads and had to send some guys up to Longmont or wherever they were loading at like 11:30. They barely made it.
Wow.
We kept most of the trucks busy, and all the Fairplay trucks were doing one round because they were closing at noon, so they couldn't get back for another round.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Just more of a rumor thing that we're not out of work, and yet it would be nice to have a little more Saturdays off.
Yeah, and everybody's faced with the cement shortage.
Yeah, everybody.
That's not just Brannon.
And that doesn't take. That's the other big thing that nobody thinks about. Just because there's a cement shortage, your personal projects, redoing your driveway, state projects, county projects, whatever, they don't go, oh, I'm not going to do that project. We're out of cement. That all stays on the books.
Right.
Yeah.
It just pushes work farther and farther back that we still have to go do.
Right.
So
Then keep in mind the cement. I just looked it up because I read an article on it, but the cement shortage isn't due to production. Well, isn't due to availability. There's been some hiccups in production with 3 of the largest manufacturers in not only the United States but the world, but also too, you guys, they have been hammered by the environmental people. And to manufacture cement, the era of sustainable construction has arrived. Every year about 2 gigatons of CO2 is released into our environment due to the production and usage of cement.
Wow.
So they're working with algae right now to try and replace 7% of actual raw cement with algae, and it'll become sustainable. Instead of having to create cement from digging it up out of the ground and crushing it and heating it and refining it, they'll be able to do that. So not only will they be able to replace 7% of the cement created, but they're also saying that will eliminate 7% of the carbon going up. And ironically, that magic 7% number, that cement creates 7% of the carbon released in our ozone. So they are really, that's the, aside from automobiles, that is the leading manufacturer or leading cause, that's still not the right word, leading producer of carbon.
Yeah.
So, and I think we've mentioned it before on the podcasts, but like Brannan, because they're a leading manufacturer, they've just attached to, I don't know how many of their plants, this product called Carbon Cure, and they're actually capturing the carbon. And I don't know at what point they capture it. For some reason, I just visualize it going from the cement into the truck where they're capturing some of the carbon that's being released. And honestly, it's above my pay grade.
All the
I don't
plants have
understand.
that?
Huh?
All their plants have
No,
that?
I don't think all of them do. I definitely know their larger plants do.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I would think
interesting.
carbon would come out when the cement is curing, when the concrete is curing.
Well,
Because it's actually releasing gases into the air. And
The first part of it in the cement process, Dave, that's what the carbon there is because the heat
the
they
heating,
have
absolutely.
to create
Yeah,
the
they have to
cement.
put it through a kiln and heat it to
Yeah.
4,000 degrees or something.
Exactly.
Right.
And
Pulverize it, powder it.
Yeah, and the carbon, I know they've been talking, there's different places where they've developed carbon fans that blow all the time, and they just grab carbon out of the air and redo it somehow.
Yeah.
And I assume that's what's at the plant. Like Dave said, it's
Quite
quite the technology.
It's a very expensive item too, and they're really trying to advertise it. They've taken, I've seen, I don't know how many mixers now that they've taken and repainted the whole drum and put this beige color on it and white where it says Carbon Cure right on the drum, and it's a Brannan truck. So they're really trying to push the product.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know,
proactive.
Yeah.
They're being proactive.
Absolutely.
That's what we love about Brannan.
Leading edge, right?
Sounds like algae is kind of the plant of the future. I mean, what do they? They make
Yeah,
all kinds
fuel.
of stuff. Plastic. They can make plastic out of
Yeah.
algae.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
and it's a renewable for fuel.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the next big thing.
I think
is
I'm going to
algae
start
for
an
fuel.
algae farm.
Right.
Yeah, little sun and a little water.
That's all you need. We got plenty of sun here
Right.
in Colorado.
Right.
I was going to say
No
this.
water though.
Right. I was going to say this for my
Well,
final.
don't you just use it once, Dave, and the algae grows in it?
I was going to say this for my final thoughts, but because you were talking about Saturday work and rumors, I just wanted to read something to you guys and then kind of address it. By definition, gossip is when a negative is discussed with anyone who can't solve the problem. Okay, so lots of rumors flying around this weekend because, originally we were like, hey, Brandon's not taking any material for the concrete plants. Then somebody saw a Calabrese truck hauling rubble out of, what is it, Central or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So from there, it's up. JFW's going down. We're going out of business, right? It's a furthest thing from what's happening. We are not going out of business. We are thriving. We have obstacles we need to overcome, like a cement shortage and stuff like that. But don't buy into the rumors. If you hear something, you want to know if it's right or wrong, just come to somebody who knows, right? Super Dave, Brother Dave, Jim. I know some things. If I don't, I won't make up the answer. I do know we're not going out of business, so.
Yeah, and the whole rock trailer thing, Brannan called us
Right.
and asked if it was all right as such, or
Right.
they needed to take care of the rubble because they had a job that we weren't being able to move the rubble. I
Right.
mean, so many pieces to it, Jam.
Right.
I know you know the answer, but
Yeah, we didn't have enough trucks to haul rubble out of there.
yeah.
We're not going to let our customers suffer.
No,
Right?
no.
Nor are they going to let themselves suffer. So.
Yeah, but that working relationship for them to call and let us know what's going on, you know,
Right.
and then it ended up that that's not even who they hired was Calabrese. That Calabrese was a leasing. Sub hauler.
Right.
So good stuff, you guys. But if you want to know something, come talk to.
I've heard before somebody in the podcast say, "Do your research."
Yeah.
Right. Right. Do your research.
Ask,
get the facts.
Ask the right people.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Safety topics of the week. Super Dave, you want to take this?
Yeah, we were talking about that a little bit earlier, and there's a lot that goes into being aware of what's around you. What was the cliche we were talking about? I can't think
Don't push
of
a bad position.
Yeah, do not push a bad position.
Just stop.
Just stop.
6 foot rule.
Right? When you feel that you're not in a right spot to maneuver the trailer or truck to where you need it, just stop at that point. Get out and look, right? Goal.
Yeah.
That's something that's age old.
If you can't see it on the ground, you're too close.
Yep. So all of those things will fall into place so you don't bend your bumper, so you don't bend a fender on the trailer, so you don't hit a post or hit a car or hit a person. It's always best to err on the side of caution, which is another cliche which really hits home, because you can't get it back after you've bent something. And good old Mike Bortz came up with this. Pulling up and resetting or pulling forward is free. Hitting something is very expensive.
Yep. Yeah, pulling up should be free.
Yep.
But you need to stay this far away or 6 feet away from everything. And if you're not sure, get out and look. Don't push that bad position. That's great.
Yeah, I was gonna tease you, Super Dave, and Jimmy was sitting here, getting ready for the podcast, and we asked, what do we have a safety topic for the week? And we talked about the space and the 6 feet and head on the swivel and all that kind of stuff. And when you first asked that, I was like, or Jam, you first asked it, whatever. I was like, everything.
Right.
Everything's a safety. What can we spit out? Just your following distances. A lot of stuff you guys did. We can't talk about it enough, and yet it's a broken record.
Yep. Speed, space. Fatigue, distracted driving.
Yeah, pulling on the scale. Don't be on the CB. All that kind of stuff.
I thought about
Pull
that
on
when
in
I was
first gear or low gear.
driving in this morning, and you guys were sitting in your pickup, and I was on the CB talking to Stingray, and I'm thinking, I got to park next to that fence right now. I better put this CB down because I'm like inches away from that fence when I back my pickup truck in the morning.
Have a good day, driver.
That's exactly what I was thinking, Dave. See you later, Stingray. Have a good day.
Yeah,
You probably got a little PTSD from your recent park job downtown.
Yeah, no doubt. There's another cliche. Haste makes waste, everybody. Slow down and pay attention and don't be in a hurry.
Yeah, all the stuff. You got one, Jimmy, that you think about a lot, like get out and look, or you do one in your head that you...
I don't know. I mean, it's pretty like common sense. Like when I'm backing up into a bin or something like that, I always want to make sure I'm going slow, especially like Coors. They've changed the pattern so many times.
Yeah.
And I've noticed that when I'm going in reverse, it's quite a ways that you have to reverse in there. Sometimes I'm like, yeah, I got this, and I'm going at a certain speed, and I'm like, well, I got to slow down because now I got to pull up like 3 times to get the straight and get it back into there. So the slower you go in there, you'll do it right. You go slow.
Yeah, you mentioned common sense. Rob White says common sense isn't so common.
No.
If it were, everyone would have it.
Rob. That's great.
I hope that's how you said it, Rob.
Sometimes the truth just like really hurts,
Right?
It just like hits you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So everything, you guys, I mean, if you've listened to the podcast, I know Jimmy, spit out something from one of the old podcasts there. And if you think about it, share it with the guys, share it when you pull into a plant, let's see if we can think of all the safety things we need to. One of the things that we interviewed David Garcia this morning, and it was in his, I meant to bring it up to him. In fact, a good guy, glad to have him back, all that kind of stuff's made a lot of life chances. So, shout out to you, David. But in his review that you did with him, Jam, actually, I think it was Kendrick that wrote it in there, wrote along. with him was he didn't roll down the window when dumping. And he wrote that down, and I wanted to ask David about it. How's your dumping skills, And so there's something, roll down that window. Make sure, I know we have most of the trailers where you got to get out and drop the trailer in the tailgates, but that was part of something to eliminate, loads against the gate or tipping something over or safety or having those dogs work, is to jump out of that truck and take a look. But still put that window down.
Make sure somebody yelling at you.
Yeah, exactly. You might, let's not hit something, but maybe if you're hitting something, you can hear it or something like that. All those things. So be prepared. Look out that back window, roll down those windows, listen for the airbags on the truck to drop.
We talked about that last week with Rick, about the programming, that we were able to set the radios when you put them in reverse to go down, or off, or, mute the volume. If we could figure out a way for those windows to roll down, we'd program that too when you put it in reverse.
Right.
I was out in the training center the other day getting ready for an interview and stuff, and what freight company was it? XPO Logistics was backing in across the street at the fire suppression place, and I wanted to ask you about this, Dave. I hadn't thought about it, but he got backed in and he set his brakes, and I swear the minute he set his brakes, the engine turned off. And I don't know if he just turned it off that fast and he was moving that fast, but is that something you could set up to try to save fuel and whatnot?
We've never checked into it. I mean, we did the timers for 5 minutes, obviously, but I don't know.
Yeah, it was. I was just going to bring up, was that in the podcast that Rick talked about that company? No, that was in the meeting. He came over. Rick talked. He went by another trucking company, a customer of his, on Sunday to look at stuff they were selling a truck. And when he got there, the truck washers were there, Super Dave. They went through and started all the trucks and let them run.
Oh, man.
While they were pulling them up and washing them.
To build there. So they were just sitting back there running for 30 minutes, 45 minutes.
Sure.
Whatever each. And if you were the 10th truck, the 30 minutes was how long at this point? Right. He just brought it up that he goes, I was going to say something to the manager of the yard, and he said, which would have done no good. But he said, I have to say something to the owner. It's just something that there's how much money in idle time is he spending while the truck wash guys are doing that. And they're not thinking anything about it. They don't want to build air. They don't want to sit. They want to pull the truck up and wash it. But they were, and he didn't, did he mention how many, Dave? There was.
I felt like 8 or 10.
Yeah, there was a lot running. So
that's messed up.
Yeah, a little side note.
Yeah, back in the day when I was doing that, I would start them up one at a time and pull them forward, even when we were doing the big fleets back in Connecticut.
Right. Yeah, it's funny what just if you're listening, and you have to be, not only all the, you're thinking about all the spaces you're driving, but sometimes you just have to tune into everything also.
The big picture.
Personally, whether it's your family or here or whatever, you got to let everything kind of soak in and think about it.
Yeah, you got to look at that.
Yep.
Soup.
Yeah, that actually is a great segue, Jim, to the High Road Hauling today.
Well, thank you, Dave.
And it's about understanding the other person's perspective or the other, the big picture, right? Again. So
that'll lead to my final thoughts, Dave.
Sweet. So today's High Road Hauling is super good, and everybody will get something out of this. And I love it when people come up to me, and sometimes certain High Road Haulings strike a chord with that person because they might be going through that in their life or just maybe dealt with it. So this one here should touch everybody, and it's pretty good. So understanding the other person's perspective will radically increase your success. To be a true success, we must possess masterful people skills. The key to successful relationships lies solely in our ability to take the perspective of another. Perspective taking, and that's what they call it actually too, perspective taking brings in the mindfulness of compassion and empathy to our relationships. When these two qualities are present in our interactions, mutual respect, success, and movement forward is guaranteed. So think of others. Whenever you are in the presence of another, it is natural to think about what they may be thinking. We observe them instinctively and notice subtleties, such as what they are doing, where they are looking, what their body language is indicating, and this helps us determine if we feel comfortable around them, which helps us decide if we want to interact with them and how. We feel comfortable, we think, or now is not a good time to talk to them, or maybe they seem unavailable, or we decide another time might be effective. So emotional regulation and empathy. Perspective taking relies not only upon our ability to share emotions with others, but also on our capacity to regulate our own emotions in that situation. To be effective with others, we must be aware of what might trigger us so we can quickly refocus ourselves on what is happening with the other. When it comes to empathy, the point is not to ask ourselves what we would do in any given situation. It's to try and understand what they would do or another person would do. So you want to correctly read the other people. The emotions are our perspective-taking guides. They help us to read people. In this way, our sensitivities are our strengths. These sensitivities to other people alert our gut instincts to their intentions and to sense any possible emotional changes. We naturally track the behaviors of others to try to determine what they are thinking, feeling, doing, or planning. Interpreting their words is very important. Most people speak indirectly, which requires us to infer the actual meaning of what they're trying to say. This creates a lot of room for misinterpretation, especially through text or email, and we all know that, right? We all know too well what a person says is not always what that person actually means. What we decide to say or not to say requires that we interpret as accurately as possible what that other person is trying to say. Most conflictual situations arise from misinterpretation of what another is trying to communicate. Once communication is clear, trust is gained and success is inevitable. So also you should respect other people's differences. It's important to remain highly attuned to the fact that not all people share our personal views and beliefs of the world. We must remain open-minded and respectful to what other people believe when relating to them. And get to know people. What you know about where people come from and how they came to be the people they are is critical in determining what to say and do. However, no matter how well we know anyone, we are human. It is through these mistakes that we learn to find a balance in each individual relationship we have. Each mistake can only improve the success and integrity of our relationships while also benefiting our own mindfulness and personal growth. We should also analyze each other's personality. It is easy to enjoy relating to all kinds of people. However, the way in which we relate to someone has a lot to do with how we perceive them as people. To some extent, we all become social chameleons. We make slight shifts in our behavior to fit the people and personalities we are around in an effort to best relate to them. This social adaptation does not make us fake as much as it makes us better able to understand others. It allows us to use many parts of our personality to create positive and effective relationships. This kind of shifting is what makes us successful with other people. The practice of perspective taking brings compassion. This does not mean we constantly seek to please others. It simply means we are trying to create the most effective communication, which will lead us to successful relationships. These steps are the key to success of any kind. And the quote today, success is not the key to happiness. Happiness is the key to success.
Ooh.
If you love what you're doing, you will be successful.
Yeah.
And that was spoken by Albert Schweitzer. And he was a dude that lived from 1875 to 1965, and he won the Nobel Peace Prize in 1952. He was a German polymath, and I was like, what the hell is that? A polymath is a person of wide-ranging knowledge or learning. For example, he was a theologian, a physician, a musician, a humanitarian, a writer, and a philosopher.
Wow.
So that was pretty cool.
He just sounds brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No doubt.
So, practice perspective taking.
No doubt. Nice job, Soup. Final thoughts, everybody? Jimmy V, you got anything you want to leave JFW with?
Final thoughts. I just want to tell my JFW family, be patient out there, all you drivers. I know at the end of the day, you want to get home. And sometimes we don't want to go for that last load, but, at the end of the week on that paycheck, it looks nice. So be patient, do things right. Together, we are JFW. Together, we're this one mean machine, We do it together. We do it good.
I like that.
That is good. Thanks, Jake.
One moon
Thanks, Jimmy.
machine.
Yeah.
Soup.
I'm going to step back to our safety topic, and I'm going to quote Top Gun, "Don't push a bad position." That was from the first one. I just saw the second one last weekend, and it was really, really good. So I'm on the Top Gun bandwagon.
Nice.
Do not push a bad position.
Who's in that again?
Some dude that looks
Tom
about
Hanks.
20, but he's actually 60.
My son would do that to my wife. And she'd be like, "Oh, you should see that. I love Tom Hanks movies."
Everybody will think it's Tom Hanks now.
Thought his name was Wilson.
Yeah, thanks, Super Dave. You're spot on. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was a great high road haul-in too, Dave, because it rolls right in with my final thoughts. Like I mentioned earlier in the podcast, I was in Oregon. My wife and two of her friends did a half Ironman up there just outside of Portland in, I can't even think of the town, Salem there. And it's pretty crazy. I watched thousands of people this weekend do the half Ironman. It's a 1.2 mile swim, a 56 mile bike ride, and then a 13.1 mile run, right?
Wow.
She did a full Ironman,
Yep.
which is a 2.4 mile swim, a 112 mile bike ride, and a 26.2 mile run, which is a marathon, 5-6 years ago up in Boulder, but this one was just a half. And I guess you talk about perspective, Dave, and I was sitting there thinking, what makes those people want to do that, And I watched, we drove the bike course just to see what it was about because they suggested it. It was, I don't think there was a straightaway longer than 100 yards. It was a miserable bike course, windy, narrow roads, no shoulders, tough to pass. And the swim, everybody functioned on really well. As a matter of fact, everyone bragged about the swim because it was in a river. And everyone got their best time. Everyone PR'd on the swim, right? And as a matter of fact, some people were like, "This sucks. We'll never beat this time again in a reservoir."
Were they swimming with the current?
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, the you talk about perspective, Dave. These people loved what they did. And I bet there were at least 6 people that showed up that crashed on their bikes. This one woman, when she came into transition area, because that's where I was hanging out, to cheer the ladies on that were there that I was there with, this woman took her bike helmet off and she had like 7 wads of paper towel on her forehead where she had crashed. She had a big gauze pad around her forearm that was all bloodied. Both her knees were skinned up. And she threw that bike in the bike rack, and she took off her bike shoes and put on her running shoes and put on her running, belt, because they all have a belt because it's 85 degrees out, and now they have to go run 13 miles. And she was thrilled. She was happy as could be to go do that because she had trained for it. That was the goal. And they were out of their comfort zone, and I guess that's perspective, and it lines right up with your quote and stuff, Dave, and I guess it's just jump out of your comfort zone, people. You're not challenged unless you do something that's out of your comfort zone. If you do the same old thing every day, you don't grow. It's not easy. Even if you fail at the new thing, you got to jump out there and do it. So I guess I was impressed with everyone I didn't see anyone come back and go, "I don't know why I'm doing this. This sucked." Everyone was thrilled to do it. So it was pretty impressive. I learned a lot
cool.
up there, yeah.
Those people are sick.
They are, every one of them, sick in the head.
Yep.
And, every body type, too, Jam.
Right.
I was like,
But they're
damn.
happy.
Yeah,
right?
I
Yeah,
looked at
yeah.
some of those body types like, I could do this. And I looked in the mirror and I'm like, damn, I could do this and look better than some of them.
But you know what, Dave? If you put your mind to it, you could do it.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
could
yeah.
I, and so could,
Yeah. Yeah,
you, Jam.
absolutely. Yeah, we know how Jam loves to run.
Yeah.
I'm not running anywhere.
Jim has a concealed carry permit. He doesn't need to run.
He's passionate about that,
He
isn't
just
he?
points.
I'm not running anywhere.
Yeah,
I might run after a food truck.
I always joke we'll see somebody running alongside the road, and I'm like, I don't see anybody chasing them. Why are they running?
Yeah, oh man, my ankle just hurt thinking about it. Jim, you got some final thoughts?
Oh, Jam, it could be final thoughts or confession time.
Oh boy, this is juicy.
We'll go from there. So hopefully I won't take too long here, but a couple things. I've had a really weird week already. So I have worked here, I believe it'll be 40 years in August.
Coming up.
Okay, yep, coming up. In 40 years, I have never rear-ended anybody. I've had a couple accidents. I slid into somebody in the snow like way back in like 1982. I've been a couple bumpers. I don't think I've ever backed into a bend. Nothing. I've never hit anything with the trailer. Probably don't have quite a few miles as what the rest of you guys do because I've been in the office here. But we talk about space. We talk about keeping our head on the swivel. We talk about all these things. I sit through these meetings. We talk about the cameras and everything else. And I screwed up and I rear-ended somebody Monday night.
Oh, wow.
In my pickup, which is not my personal pickup, you guys, which is a company vehicle. You know, it's here at JFW, under JFW insurance. And I-25 northbound, I don't know, it was like 3 o'clock and all the traffic. And when we interview people, somebody, we always ask what happened. And honestly, it's not that I can't tell you what happened, but I took I wasn't texting, luckily I wasn't looking at emails for the day. I wasn't doing with stuff that, we shouldn't be doing. I just was not paying attention. And it was a low speed hit. Pulled over and asked the guy if he was all right. And he's like, it's good, bud. He said, give me your contact name. I got to go. And it was that kind of rear end thing. But it's still, it's part of my character and what I pride myself on. And I don't have to say anything about it. Nobody knows about it. I just can fix my car and go on. But it's something, I guess, Jimmy, you mentioned it earlier that, you tell people about your experience, and nobody's perfect. You said it this morning, Jam.
Yep.
And the thing is about taking your eyesight, your concentration, and you guys are in those big trucks, and my pickup stops just fine, you guys. And it's a small vehicle and all
It's
that.
had disc brakes for years.
Yeah, it has had disc brakes for years. You're right, and I don't want to make fun of it, but Dave, I told Dave about it. He's the only person I told about it besides, I did tell my wife, but she said, you did what? But that was a different reaction. But I told Dave about it, and it took him a full day yesterday going home. He's like, do you see all right? I was like, what do you mean, do I see all right? And he's like,
Brother Dave, the kind with words brother.
he's like, well, do you have contacts? And I'm like, yeah. Are you wearing them? I'm like, yeah. And he's like, well, riding home with you, I think your depth perception's off. I've been wanting to step on the brakes on the passenger side a lot sooner. He said, I think you need to pay attention more. And I'm like, wow, you're making me feel wonderful, dude. And so anyway, I guess that part of that confession is, you guys, it happens to the best of us. Yeah. I screwed up. There's no way you can't pay attention enough. So please, everybody, pay attention. And then my second weird thing, so that's Monday night. And then Tuesday morning, I leave the house at, 4:20, 4:25 when I'm picking up Dave, live up off of Highway 7 in Quebec. Everybody should know Highway 7 in Colorado. That's where the railroad bridge is, where you either go up the hill or you're coming down the hill. I pull out of my neighborhood at the top of Highway 7 there in Quebec, and no lights. Usually there's hardly any traffic on Highway 7.
No car lights.
No car lights. Yeah, thanks, Dave.
Headlights on the road.
Headlights, nothing. And I'm just about down to Colorado there, the first light going west, and a set of headlights come out of nowhere behind me. And I'm like, wow. After my accident, I'm thinking, Jesus, did I miss that car? Being really tough on myself. And just before Colorado, his blinker comes on. Why he used a blinker, I don't know. and he goes around me, and I'm running 60. Light changes at Colorado. I'm like, holy shit. He turns off all his lights, you guys, and runs through the red light.
Wow.
By the time I'm far enough back, by the time I get to the light, it turns green. And I'm like, Jesus, I got to do something about this. And, you know, illegal, but nobody around. I stand on it, you guys, and I try to catch the guy. And I turn off to go to Dave's house a little different direction. But if anybody's familiar with the way, as I go and make the curve headed towards Home Depot, I make the curve. That's as fast as I can. There is no vehicle. He's gone. That's how fast he's going. Mm-hmm. So I turn to try to make the story shorter here. I turn to go back to pick up Dave, and I go to Costco and then down Washington to the apartments, and I see a set of taillights inside the apartments that's driving around. And I'm like, is this guy? And it's bugging me so much. So I go in there, the guy's driving around the parking lot, he backs into a parking place, and I go, oh, that's the white car. You know, it's a nice car, the whole bit. I pull up across in front of him, I roll down the window, he rolls down the window, and I'm like, you know, I said, that's the biggest, scariest asshole move I have ever seen, buddy. You purposely turned off your lights and ran through that red light. I said, living up here, I said, do you know how many accidents I see at that intersection and people being killed? You know, if you drive through there, everybody's seen the marks on the side of the bridge where people's crashed.
Yeah, you don't have accidents there. You have fatalities.
You have fatalities, absolutely. And the guy looks at me, and you guys, this is what we talk about every day. He looks at me and he says, I know that. I'm sorry. I just lost my my fiance, and I could give a F less about my life right now.
Wow.
And so at that point, I'm like, okay, what do I say? You know, and I said, you know, I'm sorry, and I feel for you, but I'm worried about the other person you would take, the other person's life you would take at this point. And I said, I wish you the best. I wish I could help you, but you have to think of somebody else and not yourself. And again, he goes, you're right, but he said, I could care less about my life. Mm. And I said, I hope you can get some help. I hope that changes. But I said, you can't risk everybody else's life. And I drove off, you guys.
Man.
And I'm it's just ate at me. Did I say the right thing? Could I have done something more? You know, where's that guy? The whole, I didn't walk in his shoes. We haven't walked in his shoes. We told the story about the guy on the subway,
right.
All that kind of stuff, you guys. And life is in your face every day. Dave, you just brought it up about the people running that race, you know, and they're thrilled to do it.
Yeah.
You know, but it pushes them to an extreme. Dave, your comments on your high road hauling, you know, Jimmy, we're a big machine, but we have to be a big machine together and accomplish this stuff. And so you guys, I don't know, that's my story in the last 2 days. I hope somebody can learn from it and think about stuff the next time. And if you're in a bad place, come talk to somebody. We may not be the people, but maybe we can point you in that way. Maybe you can just go get help. Maybe you can talk to a friend. I don't know.
Maybe we are the people.
Maybe we are the people. Yeah, I mean, I'll try to be. Maybe me just stopping and talking to the guy helped. Right. I don't know if I said the right things, but
I'll say we're not the wrong people. We could help. We could help.
Yeah, we could help some way, right. Jam?
Yep.
I mean, yeah. So, yeah, everybody have a. that's my confession.
All right, we're gonna need pictures of the pickup truck.
Of the other guys or mine, Jam?
It just ain't much, Jam.
Reports for both of us, Jim.
Right.
I've heard that before.
Yeah.
You guys want to hit the creed and get out of here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Absolutely.
Together we face and overcome all that stands before us.
Together we are active and free. Not.
together.
Damn.
Man, that's some brotherly. That's like,
Yeah, boy,
except
he is
Monday.
full of that brotherly love, isn't he?
That's the little brother too, man.
Jab, 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 jab. That's just because it's usually
right.
me. I'm usually on the wrong side of that.
Well, the next one is more positive. Try to
Yes.
make fun of that. Together we joyfully create
Create honest value for those we serve.
Right?
Together we celebrate our differences
And
Respect.
are accountable for our words
That's
and
the next
actions.
one.
Oh,
Oh man.
Celebrate our differences and respect,
Respect those who we work.
And together
We
we're
are accountable for our words and our actions.
Together
Together,
we are
JFW family.
JFW
family.
You know, Brother Dave, the easiest way to get asked to leave JFW is to be disrespectful.
So who drove today? You?
I'm still driving.
You're
but
still driving?
Dave's
Lay up on the
like this
jokes
the
because you're
dash.
going to have to walk home.
You can't see it, Jimmy, but this is the way he's riding in the car. He's got his hands on the dash now the whole time.
Yeah, but now he has to not make so much fun of you because then he's going to have to walk home, right?
Right.
it's kind of funny because we usually discuss a lot of things on the way in or on the way home. Jimmy,
not
'cause
anymore.
It's our only kind of like segregated private time, right? And this morning, I don't know. I think I talked until we got to like 84th, and I looked at him. I'm like, "You're kind of quiet this morning. Everything okay?"
Didn't want to tell him, Jimmy, I'm concentrating on the road.
Should have told them you forgot your contacts.
Right.
All right, everybody. Thanks for listening, and thanks, Jimmy, for being here.
Thank you guys for inviting me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thanks
thanks,
for coming,
Jimmy.
Jimmy.
We'll talk to you guys next week.
Have a good week, you
See
guys.
you, everybody.
Bye.